When I was young, Mom spent a lot of time making sure that I stayed out of trouble, that I did my homework, and I generally progressed in something of a normal fashion. One thing that really stands out during this period was in 1963, and I was in fifth grade, and I brought home my first report card for fifth grade, and I got my first C grades, plus I got a D in conduct that year. My mother particularly laid it on me so thick that life was going to be absolutely miserable for me if I did not improve those grades, particularly the conduct grade. I did. I attributed it to that time, and I attribute it to her making sure that I got the message. So that was 1963. Now, also during the time that I was young, JFK was elected over Richard Nixon in the first great televised debate. It's really kind of cool to be able to remember that. And I was there with my parents and watching the first televised debate. And oh, yeah, Nixon looked like a really, really mean, bad man. That's why Kennedy won. At any rate, Kennedy died in 1963, and my parents took it hard, just like everybody. On me, it's like I didn't know. The president died. Yeah, that's really bad. But I did not feel it the same because I was only 10 years old. They, of course, were in their 40s, and they took it really hard because it was a really, really bad signal to the rest of the country to have your president assassinated. But the one thing that my mother reminded me of from watching all of that on TV is what we're being told is not true. For Lee Harvey Oswald to be shot on national TV, that just does not add up. And she made me think to not necessarily trust everything that you're told by the media at that time. In 1969, I watched the moon landing with my mom and dad and my grandparents. It was like a big family outing in our basement to watch, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. And it was probably the greatest thing that ever happened in my grandparents' life, but certainly to my mom and dad. In 1971, I graduated from high school. I also drew draft number one in the last year that the draft was called. Upset my parents tremendously because they didn't want to see me have to go to Vietnam. As it turned out, I didn't have to go to Vietnam. I wound up enlisting and escaping Vietnam, but they became empty nesters at the time, so my mother's role changed once again.